Welcome up.
Outsider, you have arrived. Please, come closer. I have something of the utmost urgency to speak to you about. Do hurry. He doesn't like to be kept waiting. I'm so glad you're here. It's been a while since anyone's visited us, and he's been waiting for some... If you wouldn't mind... Excellent.
You are welcome, like the Great One himself. We welcome you.
I can't believe you're here. We will speak once we've arrived in the pavilion. Don't worry, all will be explained.
Revel, outsider, for he has chosen you!
You have no idea how overjoyed I am to see you. That's his power you feel, outsider. He is the one who grows. He is the one who gives. No one speaks his name out of reverence for his majesty. Thanks to him, the tree minders have a home. I would have preferred that he made the introduction, but I understand your hesitation. The Great One is a god tree. The tree minders are blessed to have this. Yes, my apologies. I don't speak to outsiders very... As you approached Oasis, he said you were coming, and I was sent out to meet you personally. He wishes to meet with you. You'd be the first outsider to do so in a... To meet him, you must undergo the ceremony. Whenever you're ready, we may begin. I'm afraid not. No one gets to see him. The sap will purify your mind. Other than that, there's nothing more to this. Very good. Take your place in front of the basin and...
See you.
Hey there! We will now recite the blessing to ward off any harm the outsider may be carrying before he proceeds to the grove.
I bid you depart.
agents of destruction through the power of his divine will.
Leave our homes and bodies immediately. Live no longer in them, but pass over into places where you can harm no one.
In the name of his frondescence, I call his wrath upon you, so that wherever you may go, you bear it with you.
And, diminishing from day to day, you will disappear, except you who serve the health and good purposes of mankind. May no trace of you be found.
All this, may he be so good as to grant us, who is to come to judge the living and the dead, and the world by his virtue.
Amen. Soon, you will pass peacefully into sleep, outsider. And when you awake, you will witness his glory firsthand.
Stand where I can see you. Glad to see you're finally awake. I can't believe they listen when I talk. Where? You mean in here? We're old pals. Well, his name's really Bob. I think... Bob, that's the tree. Used to ride around on top of... Well, eventually he got bigger. It was a long time ago. I was exploring some sort of a mill. We were pretty deep inside, and we found some weird vats of the last thing I remember before blacking out. Yes, you're right, of course. I had you brought in here to ask a very... Would you please? You see, I've been stuck here for over... The only friends I've got are Bob and those weirdos. Oh, no, don't worry about them. When you they usually don't understand a word I say. How to put this? It's hard to tell where everything is. Anyway, I believe Bob's carried some of my organs into his root. You will? Just give me a little time to... No. Herbert is... But I'm still in here too. What's left of me.
Very nice to meet you.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Bloomseer Poplar. It brings me great honor to welcome. Be wary of the water in the caves. I fear they still... In what we call the Harvest Month, the Great One create... At the end of this time, the pods open and the seeds are carried quite easily. Wherever the seeds take purchase, they grow into trees. He's not my god. He's everyone's god. You, me. Oh, if only Tree Father Birch saw it as you do. You'd think he'd realize that this place won't remain a secret forever. How long before someone comes to take this place by force? No. I say allow this place to... Like I said, he's everyone's god. This place isn't... My father was a healer like myself. He had the most... Many years later, I heard a rumor. I've been in this wonderful place for over 15 years now. I was the third one to arrive here in Oasis. Tree Father... If she hadn't been around, I doubt Birch would have ever let me stay here. After a while, they taught me their ways, and...
You're a guest among us, and quite welcome. So you're the outside. My parents told me never to go past the old gate. Oh, you mean Harold? He's really nice. Sometimes I even curl up all cozy like. I tell him what I'm scared of, and he tells me what he's scared of. Aw, I never knew an... Harold told me that he's scared of fire. If fire ever got on him, it would burn him and Bob. That's why we keep the fires far away from him. That's okay. I like talking about Harold. Sometimes I even curl up all cozy like, and I tell him what I'm scared of, and he tells me what he's scared of. May you...
Good to speak to you again. Oasis is located near what used to be an old mine. When the attack started about 200 years ago, many people took shelter. The old gate that stands at the mouth of Oasis.
And I'm telling you, you've got it all wrong. Why else would he have called for an outsider's assistance?
The outsider is here to deliver us from our enemies, to keep this place safely locked away from the wasteland, not to exploit us.
How can we preach about peace when all you want to do is keep his gift all to ourselves? That's not what he would want.
If we allow the spread of this miracle to continue, we're putting him in jeopardy. I can't allow that. I won't allow it.
Again, my husband, we are at an impasse. I suggest we speak to the outsider.
Agreed. Why else would the outsider have been allowed into the grove? Perhaps it's a test. Yes, that must be it. I know why you're here, and despite what my wife thinks, I know you'll do what's best for Oasis. After all, he chose you, and he would... Oh, he's testing you now, just like he tested us. He wants to see if your faith is strong by spinning these incredible stories. Don't worry, you'll soon see. The Great One does tend to speak in riddles. My talks with him have become quite puzzling of late. The Great One's influence is growing. We can't allow Oasis to call attention to it. I've had enough of your blasphemy. I've tolerated it this long because you're an outsider, but no more. If the same sap that you drank to purify yourself could be applied to his heart, I can promise you no harm would come to him. That's all I ask.
I love Birch, but sometimes I think he doesn't see the big picture. The spreading of his influence is not a curse. It's a great... Of course we do. He yearns to share his miracles with the whole world. It's upsetting him to no end. But Birch can't see the... But now that you're here, I have a feeling the winds are... I heard what my husband wanted you to do. What I propose is an alternative. The same person that created the sap also created this liniment. Instead of centuries, the wasteland will become green in mere decades. Just imagine how glorious that would...
Branch Tender Cypress at your service. Welcome to our little home. I wish they wouldn't argue so much. It makes everyone uncomfortable. Sure. Here you go. Good luck to you. May the Great One...
This can't be. It just can't. How could he leave us?
The Great One is dead, slain by your hand. Don't worry, I hold no grudge towards you. You'll have to forgive my people at a time like this, outsider. They aren't used to being so lost. And for once, I don't have the words to help them. Before you reached his heart, he imparted his last words to me. He told me about how could I have been so blind? How could I have misled? Perhaps, if I would have spent more time getting to know him. Even though the Great One has left us, with Bloomseer Poplar's help, I'm confident we can keep Oasis. Go now, outsider. Go, but never forget.